Hi everyone, it is my prayer that you are of good health. Welcome to the discussion about the United Republic of Tanzania Chapter 80, Cap 80, the Civil Aviation Act, the principal legislation. Yours is Maximilian Philbert, and today we are going to continue and we are going to see the module 2 of the Civil Aviation Act. I request your attention and your time to be with me in this discussion up to the end. You're welcome. Disclaimer: this presentation is solely intended for educational reasons and will not replace any document or portion thereof supplied by the government of the United Republic of Tanzania or any of our authorities. By so saying, I encourage you to visit the Tanzanian Civil Aviation Authority official website and download for yourself the original document of the Civil Aviation Act, Cap 80, for your personal reading. Thank you very much. Pending appointment of the Director General and the Board. Pending the appointment of the members of the Board and the Director General, the Minister has a responsibility to perform the functions and exercise powers vested in the Board and or the Director General. In the performance of the functions or exercising the powers of the Board or the Director General, the Minister may, by order published in the Gazette, designate a public authority or public officer to perform the functions or exercise the powers of the Board or the Director General. Trespassing at aerodrome. Any owner or officer in charge of the aerodrome or airport shall ensure that no person or animal trespasses on any land forming part of an aerodrome, and to effect that, he shall ensure that the notices warning trespassers are posted so as to be readily seen and read by the members of the public. Part 5. Liability for damage caused by aircraft. Where there is a material loss or damage caused to any person or property on land or water by a person in or an article or person falling from the aircraft while the aircraft is taking off or landing or in flight, then unless the loss or damage was caused or contributed by the negligence of the person to whom it was suffered damages. It means here, if it was caused by the negligence of the person who is the victim of the loss or damage, then the loss or damage shall be recovered without a proof of negligence or intention or other cause of action. And this will be done as if the loss of damage had been caused by the willful act, neglect, or default of the owner of the aircraft. Responsibility where aircraft is hired out. Where an aircraft has been bona fide demised, let, or hired out for any period exceeding 14 days to any person by the owner, and during such a period there is no pilot, commander, navigator, or operative member of the crew of the aircraft is in the employment of the owner, then the reference of the owner is substituted to the person to whom the aircraft has been demised, let, or hired out. Part 6. Detention of aircraft. Exemption from seizure of certain aircraft on patent claims. Any lawful entry into the United Republic of Tanzania or any lawful transit across the United Republic of Tanzania with or without landings of an aircraft with the construction, mechanism, parts, accessories, or operation of the aircraft, which is or are in infringement of any patent, design, or model, shall not entail any seizure or detention of the aircraft. Also, it shall not entail any proceedings being brought against the owner or operator, and that it shall not cause interference by or on behalf of any person in the United Republic of Tanzania. Also, the importation into and the storage inside the United Republic of Tanzania of the spare parts and the spare equipment for an aircraft, and the use of and the installation in the repair of such an aircraft on the ground that the spare parts or spare equipment or their installation are in the infringement of any patent, design, or model shall not entail any seizure or detention of the aircraft or the spare parts or operator of the aircraft or owner of the spare parts or the spare equipment. And also it shall not cause any interference with the aircraft by or on behalf of any person in the United Republic of Tanzania. It means that the aircraft, the materials of the aircraft, or the equipment of the aircraft to be installed on the aircraft, which are on the patent claims, cannot cause the aircraft to be detained, will not cause the proceedings being brought against the owner or operator of the aircraft. Also, it cannot cause any person or cannot cause the interference by or on behalf of any person in the United Republic of Tanzania. Power to detain and search aircraft. Where the Director General has reasonable grounds to suspect that an aircraft is used in contravention of the Civil Aviation Act, or that it contains any matter which may be used as evidence in respect of an offense under the Civil Aviation Act, the Director General may detain, inspect, board on, or recall that aircraft in flight. Detention of aircraft. Any regulations made under the Civil Aviation Act may provide for the detention of aircraft to secure compliance with this Civil Aviation Act or the regulations made from the Civil Aviation Act. Also, the Minister has the power to provide for detention of the aircraft. Transfer of responsibilities to another state. The authority, which is the Tanzanian Civil Aviation Authority, may, by the agreement made with the appropriate foreign civil aviation authority, which is under the Chicago Convention, first, transfer to the concerned civil aviation authority of another state all or part of the authority's responsibilities for a Tanzania registered aircraft operated by a foreign operator, or vest in the authority all or part of the responsibilities of the Civil Aviation Authority of another state for an aircraft registered by that state and operated by the Tanzania operator. Aircraft in distress. Where an aircraft is in distress within the territory of the authority shall permit, subject to the control by its own authorities, the owners of the aircraft or the authorities of the state in which the aircraft is registered, to provide measures of assistance as may be necessitated by the circumstances rendering the distress. Also, the authority shall search the missing aircraft in line with the coordinated measures prescribed by the authority. And also the authority shall provide any other necessary assistance in regard to that aircraft in distress. Part 7. National Air Transport Facilitation Program, National Air Transport Facilitation Committee, and the Airport Facilitation Committee. The Civil Aviation Act, which is the Cap 80, provides for the establishment of the National Air Transport Facilitation Program, which is organized by the authority for the purpose of implementing the relevant articles of the Chicago Convention. We have to be mindful that the Chicago Convention on International Civil Aviation has got 96 articles, of which Articles 1 up to 42 establish the international air law, and the Articles 43 up to Article 96 establish the Constitution on International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. The established National Air Transport Facilitation Committee is organized by the authority. Functions of Air Transport Facilitation Committee. Functions of the National Air Transport Facilitation Committee shall include the following. First, to implement the National Air Transport Facilitation Program. The National Air Transport Facilitation Program is having a purpose of implementing the relevant articles of the Chicago Convention, as we have seen earlier. And also, the National Air Transport Facilitation Committee has the responsibility of reviewing questions of policy in relation to clearance formalities applied to the international air transport services. Another responsibility is to consider recommendations made by the Airport Facilitation Committee established at international airports. We shall later discuss about the Airport Facilitation Committee. And also, in regard to this, the National Air Transport Facilitation Committee shall refer matters to the Airport Transport Facilitation Committee for attention. The National Air Transport Facilitation Committee shall make recommendations to the departments, competent authorities, and other organizations concerned with the National Air Transport Facilitation Program. And it shall keep the departments, competent authorities, and other organizations concerned informed of significant developments in the field of international civil aviation, insofar as they may affect the operations into and out of the United Republic of Tanzania. Composition of National Air Transport Facilitation Committee. The National Air Transport Facilitation Committee shall be composed of the senior officials, representing the main areas or fields concerned with the civil aviation, which will include the facilitation, the clearance agencies including immigration, customs, public health, agriculture, security, and narcotic control. Also, there will be your senior officials from tourism, trade, ministry responsible for civil aviation, ministry responsible for foreign affairs, and the operators including ground handling services providers and forwarders as required. Every international airport to have an Airport Facilitation Committee. The Civil Aviation Act provides that the Airport Facilitation Committee shall be at every international airport in the United Republic of Tanzania. The international airports in the United Republic of Tanzania include Julius Nyerere International Airport, Abeid Karume International Airport, Kilimanjaro International Airport, and Mwanza International Airport. I have provided for you the EHATA code and the CAO code for each of these international airports found in the United Republic of Tanzania. Functions of Airport Facilitation Committee. The Airport Facilitation Committee shall have the following functions. First is to implement the National Air Transport Facilitation Program at the airport level, examine problems arising in connection with the clearance of aircraft, passengers, baggage, cargo, mail, and the stores, and to effect, if possible, immediate solution to the problems with which may arise at the international airport concerned. Also, the Airport Facilitation Committee have a function to make recommendations as appropriate to the department, ministry, or authority concerned, or the National Airport Transportation Facility Committee for the implementation of proposals which cannot be affected by the Air Transport Facilitation Committee. Also, the Airport Facilitation Committee shall inform the National Air Transport Facilitation Committee of action taken and the recommendations made by forwarding the copies of the minutes of all the committee meetings. Part 8, Miscellaneous Provisions. Application of Civil Aviation Act and the regulations. The provision of this Civil Aviation Act and any regulations made under this Civil Aviation Act shall apply to all aircraft while in or over any part of the United Republic of Tanzania, and shall also apply to all Tanzanian aircraft and to the crews and other persons on board or doing anything in relation to a Tanzanian aircraft. This shall be so, except excluded under this Civil Aviation Act. Jurisdiction of courts over acts done within the United Republic of Tanzania. Any act done in contravention of the Civil Aviation Act or regulations made under the Civil Aviation Act, or an offense committed in or over an area within the jurisdiction of the United Republic of Tanzania, or any offense committed on Tanzanian aircraft, shall be tried in any court having competent jurisdiction in the United Republic of Tanzania. Revocation and the suspension of certificates. Where the Director General of the authority, that is the Tanzanian Civil Aviation Authority, has got reasonable grounds to believe that any person has violated the Civil Aviation Act, he has the mandate to make an order to prohibit, suspend, revoke, or vary the privileges of a license, certificate, or any other authorization issued by the authority to that person. Inspection. For the purpose of ensuring aviation safety, security, consumer protection, and for any other reasons for which the authority is established, the authority shall have unrestricted access to inspect the following: any aircraft in Tanzania territory, regardless of its state of registry, shall have unrestricted access to inspect Tanzanian registered aircraft wherever it may be. Unrestricted access to inspect the flight compartment, aerodrome used for civil aviation operations, facilities and aircraft accident sites, premises of any regulated agent or premises of the holder of an air service license, certificate, and authorization. And also, the authority shall have unrestricted access to inspect other approval documents issued by the authority or any records, information, and explanation. Delegation of powers by Director General. The Director General of the authority, that is the Tanzanian Civil Aviation Authority, may by writing under his hand, either generally or specifically, delegate to such officer or officers all or any of the powers exercised by him under any written law. The officer to whom any power is delegated by the Director General may exercise those powers in the same manner and with the same effect as if it has been granted on him directly by this section and not by the delegation. Any such delegation shall, until revoked, continue to be in force according to the tenure, without being prevented by the fact that the Director General by whom it was made may have ceased to hold office, and they shall continue to have effect as if made by the person holding an office as Director General. Liability of directors and officers of corporations. Where an offense is made under the Civil Aviation Act has been committed by a body corporate, which here is the authority or government, that can be the Tanzanian Civil Aviation Authority or the ministry. Every person who at the time of the commission of this offense was a director, general manager, secretary, or other similar officer of the body corporate, or was purporting to act in any such capacity, shall be deemed to be guilty of that offense. So if the offense is on the authority or the government, a person to bear such a guilty or such offense is the person who was acting as a director, general manager, secretary, or the similar officer of the body corporate. Asante sana, thank you very much for being with me in this discussion about the Civil Aviation Act of the United Republic of Tanzania. Kindly like, comment, subscribe, and share this video to others. And I remind you not to miss the third module of this discussion on the Civil Aviation Act of the United Republic of Tanzania, so that we can complete this discussion with thorough understanding of the Civil Aviation Act of the United Republic of Tanzania. Thank you very much, and be blessed.